Insecurities. I love fairies, but fairies don't get as much love or attention that mermaids do. Mermaids have a set aesthetic. You can swim in a mermaid tail. The thought of living in the ocean is more appealing because it's basically a different world. They're more marketable. Fairies are just a normal person with wings. They could be more versatile than mermaids. However, this leaves them with no set aesthetic. You can buy fairy wings, but you can't use them to fly. And the thought of living in a different world is one that depends on the creativity of the person, not a given world like the ocean. I look at mermaids longingly, feeling the mysteriousness that they give, and fairies just don't give that feeling. For me, though, fairies make me feel happy. They make me feel light like a feather. I feel all the possibilities, all the power I can have. Fairies feed my imagination. I wrote this in 2020. We all know what happened in 2020. So I feel like I halfway expressed my feelings in this properly. I have always felt like mermaids and fairies were parallel to each other in fiction. Both are othered in a way from humans that puts them as creatures that we interact with sparingly for one reason or another. Different worlds we can't get to easily, a mischievous obstacle that you have to be careful around, a mystical helper on the hero's journey. Where they separate besides one having a tail and the other just not, is how they're portrayed. Mermaids are seen as seductive, inherently dangerous, hopeless romantics, sirens. Meanwhile, fairies are seen as residents and agents of nature and tools. Something that can be used to benefit someone in some way if you play your cards right. Sometimes they're even portrayed as a nuisance. Mermaids have a very streamlined yet versatile set of features. As long as they're half human and half fish in some capacity, they're a mermaid. The overall aesthetic that comes with that is just the ocean, which is not only versatile but also invokes this feeling of otherworldliness that's undeniably appealing. Fairies, on the other hand, are a lot more vast. A fairy could be a small person with wings, or an elemental being, or an elf, or a gremlin. When most people think fairy, they think Tinkerbell or Ferngully, little winged people that live in the forest. But in reality, a fairy can be almost anything. This leads to the occasional, oh, this show/game has fairies in it, and it's not the kind of fairy you wanted. Sometimes, even when you do find fairies that are close to Tinkerbell, they're literally a ball of light with wings, seen as pests with the sentience of a fly, or just set dressings. My point is that I feel like mermaids are more popular than fairies. I understand why, but it doesn't make it any less upsetting for me. The fairy girl, the real anchor for that little whatever that was I wrote at the beginning of this video, is what I titled it, my insecurities. I'm not going to get into all of that because no, but I will explain this one thing that drove a lot of my creative ideas, especially when it came to fandom. When I was growing up, I used to always watch AMVs, and some of the ones I watched were featuring all the girl companions Ash had traveled with at the time. I would read the comment sections of those videos and seeing people argue over who the best girl was. That was an inspiration for me. I'm going to make the best girl so people have nothing to argue about. Obviously, I got older and I know that's not how life works, but it does still have a place in my thought process to some extent. I had a very early understanding that popular equals more consumerism. I'm now going to take a break from the script because I did not think to explain this really at all. But basically, you see a lot of Naruto and Hot Topic, but you don't see a whole lot of Fruits Basket. Because Fruits Basket isn't as popular as Naruto. You see a whole lot of Disney everything, everywhere, but you don't see nearly as much DreamWorks. You see a whole lot more vampire stuff than you see werewolf stuff. That, you know, not like you need it really explained, but if you like something and the general population doesn't like that thing as much as you do, you're simply just not going to see the thing that you like because you're a minority, basically, essentially. And I have to deal with that with pretty much everything that I'm interested in. I remember, like, sometimes I would try to become more invested in something that was more popular just because I would see it more often. Like Sanrio, for example, specifically Hello Kitty. Before these past 2 years, with the huge push that they've been giving the overall brand and not just like certain characters, I was trying to convince myself, or at least make an active effort to just pay more attention, because I would see Hello Kitty stuff and I would be like, oh my god, the Hello Kitty stuff is cute. I just don't care about Hello Kitty. The cinnamon roll stuff is so cute, but I'm just not a cinnamon roll person. I just don't have a Sanrio character that I care about, but I like so much of the Sanrio stuff. And then, in good old me fashion, I finally find a Sanrio character that I care about, and it's My Sweet Piano. And My Sweet Piano is a niche character. They've been gaining more popularity recently. He. I know what gender he is. He's a guy. He's a cute little fluffy sheep who's been gaining more traction. So they're gonna be pushing him more. But when I found him on like a sticky note in Miniso or something like that. I just remember seeing him and I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute. Why have I, like, what character is this? How come I've never seen him before? In good old me fashion, I like a niche character. And just to keep on the Sanrio example, when they announced that they were going to be pushing even more characters over here in the States, like worldwide or whatever, they gave like a character list. And the one that I loved the most was the flower fairy. I keep saying Cotton because her name is like Cot something. I don't remember her name. Wait, what's her name? Kagimew? Kagimew. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. The point is, she's stinking adorable. And of course, I would like that one. We'll see how much. Does she have like a shrimp friend? We'll see how much they push her, but that's my point. I always like the thing that is not as popular, so I don't get to have all the nice Hello Kitty bedroom sets and everything. I get to scrape for scraps of some semblance of My Sweet Piano. That's me. That's me. You can go into the party section of a store and find mermaid themed party supplies. You will always find mermaid dolls and toys, a varied collection of mermaid costumes. For the most part, I like all that stuff. I think it gets the job done. And again, mermaiding is a literal career path. You can buy a mermaid tail, learn to swim in it, look like a damn sea goddess, and get paid. Fairies don't have all of that. Looking for fairy party supplies? You got pink with purple silhouettes, or put it together yourself. You want a fairy doll? You got Barbie, and sometimes a Tinkerbell doll from the Disney store. Wait. Does that Barbie fairy doll have wings on her arms? And we don't need to talk about Wings Club right now. That's a whole different thing. We're not doing that right now. You can find fairy wings of a pretty vast variety, but do any of them flutter? No, you gotta figure that out yourself too. I grew up with the Disney Fairy franchise in full. The books, the movies, the playsets, the dolls for both the book and movie eras. The Barbie Fairytopia movies were my favorite Barbie movies. Bratz Fashion Pixies is literally the only Bratz movie I own. I didn't discover Winx Club until I was in middle school, but I fucking loved Winx Club. My taste in fairy aesthetics has been shaped by these franchises, so not only is it frustrating that most random fairy things are more, I guess, classical with baby faces and simplified butterfly wings, or even just understated with very simple wings and very simple dresses, but every franchise I just mentioned that gave me my view of fairies has been either discontinued, ignored, or handled so poorly I want to choke the people responsible for just not letting it fucking end before we got to this point. I want to see fairies grow to have a more consistent general image that is eye-catching like mermaids do. I want the mermaid blue and purple equivalent for fairies. A more curated image that falls more in line with how I grew up to see them, for them to stand out. I want fairies to be more depicted like Winx Club. I want fairies to be depicted more like they are in Winx Club. Or a good mix of Winx Club and Disney fairies. Those are the ones that make my brain tickle the most. This is also where I stopped writing the script. I don't know if maybe people who like mermaids sort of feel the same way. And I don't know if I'm just living in too small of a bubble and just not finding things that are tickling my fancy. But I wouldn't have gone out of my way to make this video if I didn't still feel like this was a thing. And maybe I'm a minority within a minority. Maybe I'm the only one that wants to see fairies be depicted more, I guess, cool, superhero-esque, magical girl-y. I'm probably the only one on the platform that cares about this as much as I do. But that's what this channel's for. I want to push more for fairies just to get more love. I would like to see fairies more often. I would like to see them handled with the amount of creativity that I grew up with, that I saw in everything that I talked about previously. And I want them to be more sought after. I would like to say it would be nice if we could get the Disney Fairies franchise back in full. They've been doing some small things here and there, especially geared towards more older fans, like most of these companies are doing, but I also don't trust them to actually bring the franchise back, because if they did, I feel like they would mess it up. And I hate being in that mindset, but everyone has done it. Winx did it, Bratz did it, Barbie. I don't think Barbie's touched that yet, but I'm sure they're gonna do it. They have this line where they're paying homage to older dolls, and they're going through the movie dolls. I know they got to Rapunzel already, so I can only imagine what an Elena doll would look like, or a Mariposa doll. Probably not good enough. I'm tired of that too. And I'm going to put timestamps and dates at the end of this video to show you guys how long I've been working on this, because this was supposed to be an end of Mermaid video. This was supposed to be what I actually posted the last day of Mermaid. I just got too scared to touch it, really. I did the original line art. I was really content with it, and I decided to line it off camera because I don't like doing the line art on camera the few times I have done it. And I just didn't touch it for literally like a month because I was too scared to mess it up. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. I felt like I was gonna mess it up. I didn't know how to end the script because the script came pretty quickly for me, but I was afraid of messing up the art, so I just didn't do it. Mermaid did not go the way I wanted it to, which is the motto for this channel so far. Things just not going the way I wanted them to, but I got it finished. I didn't want to just not finish it and have the footage just sitting unused, so I got her done, and I do think I did a good job. I'm not saying I was scared for no reason, because I could always do better, but I do think I am content with how they turned out. After all that fear and procrastinating, she's finally done. I think I did a good job. Once again, I decided to cheat and not do individual scales. I'll do them one day, but I just don't have it in me right now. And I like how I did the wings. I don't know if it's showing up on camera very well, but I tried to do like little water waves in the wing and try to give some semblance of an ombre gradient. And I wish I hadn't chosen to do anything for the background once I decided I wasn't going to do anything for the background, but I think if I was more fully committed to it, I would have done a better job with this. I would have had to plan for it, because trying to color over the red wasn't really going to work that well, but I did a good job. Let me know how you enjoyed the video, how you liked my art, and leaving a like and subscribe to continue to receive invitations to the Hollow, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.